Is this the dagger?
What up, JP Nation? It's your boy JP. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel where we do basketball reaction videos and other basketball content. If you love the game of basketball like I do and also reaction videos, make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP down below and click the notification bell. You know our next upload is on the road to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This is part 4, the last part of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird documentary, A Courtship of Rivals basketball. My first time ever reacting and watching this documentary, and it has been a really good documentary. Listening to both their stories, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, from where they came from, to how they made it in college, to how they made it into the NBA, how they had success really early in their careers, and how they became one of the top players in the league at that time. And this is part 4 of it. We'll at the part where Larry Bird and the Celtics beating the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals in '87. So this is the part where we are at, and it's giving us a preview of what to expect from the 1987 NBA Finals for the last time seeing the Lakers versus the Celtics before 2008. So definitely, let's go ahead and get into the video. Make sure you rack up the likes too as well, and let's go ahead and watch it.
Unless it could escape.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ lane. What a play by Bird.
In 1987, after Boston beat the Detroit Pistons to advance to the finals for the 4th straight year, Pistons rookie Dennis Rodman called Bird overrated because he was white. His teammate Isaiah Thomas then chimed in with some thoughts of his own.
I'm sorry to interrupt. That was very controversial at that time. You know, Dennis Rodman's comments about Larry Bird just being, you know, if he was black, he'd be just another, you know, good player. And rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, I would just say, especially with Isaiah Thomas backing him up. They discussed in the 30 for 30 documentary, The Bad Boys, that Isaiah was trying to shift the focus and don't have the media blame Rodman, to have the media blame Isaiah Thomas because he was all about the team. And they kind of changed their identity and their approach. Okay, it's Isaiah's for the team, so everybody's going to buy in. So it was a strategy, but yeah, it was a very controversial statement at that time. And Dennis Rodman is still delusional to this day, though. But shout out to Dennis Rodman because he is him, okay? He is him. He'll do whatever he wants to. He'll say whatever he wants to. But, you know, he got cooked by Larry Bird, unfortunately, so.
I can remember in the locker room, I think it was Jack McMullen came up to me and said, Isaiah just said, boom, 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 boom. And I go, so?
He didn't care.
I love Larry.
Everybody else around him cared.
Yes.
Very deeply in the days and weeks as it turned out ahead.
I mean, the media made it out like it was something, but it didn't matter to me what Isaiah or Dennis Rodman said. And it still don't. It has no bearing what I do in my life.
He doesn't see race. He really doesn't.
I love Larry.
And he could have. This guy grew up poor, white, in southern Indiana. Southern Indiana, the home, by the way, of the modern Ku Klux Klan. How he managed not to be affected by the cultural milieu that he grew up in is, I think, a miracle. To me, it's inexplicable.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over because I knew over on the courts, the waiters in the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and at that time they were the best.
And in 1987, as Bird vied with Magic to be the best, the flap over Isaiah Thomas's racially fueled remarks forced Bird to address his least favorite topic at the worst possible time.
I had to go to a press conference was in LA trying to get ready to play the Lakers and tell people I didn't care. This don't bother me.
The main thing is if the statements or whatever was said doesn't bother me, I don't think it should bother any of us.
From playing all year trying to get back to the finals and play against Magic, this was a distraction.
Facts.
Bird was facing off against Magic for the third time in 4 years. And if their relationship had softened, the determination to beat each other had not. As Game 4 proved, the level of competition between them was higher than ever.
Bird played awesome down the stretch of that game.
Trailing 2-1 in the series, the Celtics were down by 1 point in the final minute of the game. But Larry Bird wouldn't be easily vanquished.
Open his aim. Bird goes for 3.
Clutch.
With 7 seconds left, though, the Lakers still had life. 3 years earlier in the '84 finals, Magic had flubbed a similar situation. But this was a different Magic, one with a whole new bag of tricks.
My man switched to Kareem, and Kevin McHale jumped out to me. And as soon as I saw Kevin, I said, "Oh, I'm taking him."
You know, Magic puts it on the floor, a couple head and shoulder fakes. He raised up in the air, and there was nobody that was going to get that shot.
Clutch.
I remember after they called timeout thinking, there's still a shot here. Celtics may still win this game.
Well, they set up a great play. Bird walked Worthy all the way up, forced the denial all the way up. We've done it before. Clear everybody out, go to the ball, break to the corner. He caught it here, and as he caught it, all he had to do was turn. He just turned, and he just let this thing go.
Bird fires it.
Got a wide open look, couldn't believe it. I'm standing right there, it is straight as an arrow.
Dead on.
Thought it was in. Ooh.
The Lakers have won.
We're lucky, because it was right on line.
He looked at me like, how did you ever leave me that wide open? You gotta be kidding me.
Changed the whole series.
The Lakers won the series in 6. In the aftermath of a year in which Magic had won his first MVP, the rivalry suddenly took on a new tone.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable.
Speechless.
I was shocked that he said it, because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
After vanquishing Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades. By the dawn of the '90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all that came with that.
The Prince of LA was now the king. And in Hollywood, being royalty had its perks.
What was Irvin Johnson's vice? Now you know my publicist wants me to say winning. But women loved Irvin.
Back then, before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number. And that was every city, every time.
I was on top of my game as Magic. So I needed all that around me at that time. The women, this, the that, Hollywood.
Magic was living in a context of sybaritic excess from the minute he walked in the door. And he developed a sweet tooth.
Sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2, 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time.
I really do believe he looks upon Magic Johnson as a movie character he played. I think Irvin got overwhelmed in LA by what it meant to be a star.
That's probably true that the Magic ego swallowed Irvin a little bit, but that's okay because I couldn't win 5 championships without that.
Through all of this haze of women and money and fame and fortune, he still kept basketball to number one. He never seemed to lose that focus.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
Wow.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do. There
Yeah.
were days he could come in the office and he couldn't stand up straight.
But even after 2 ruptured Achilles tendons and surgery on his back in 1991, Bird kept going to work. Product of a lesson learned many years before, seeing the swollen ankle of a man long since gone.
Well, we don't know if it's broken up, but it looked broke to me. Had to go to work and he had to get his boot on, and it took everything I had to help him get that boot on his foot. And he stood up limping, and he said, well, I'll see you this weekend, because he was working construction at the time. And I was pretty amazed how he could fight through that all week and come home on a weekend black and swollen. He'd sit around on the weekend and put that boot on and go again. If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in the door.
Wow.
And somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then still play basketball.
Wow.
Every time I would play, I was wondering if I was going to be in a wheelchair, or was I ever going to be able to, walk on the beach or hold my kids.
His pain and his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with, because this was Larry's issue, and there was no sharing of his pain.
I probably should have retired in 88, 89, but it's that competition. Maybe one more chance, maybe Magic get together in the finals, but it never happened.
Sleep.
Wow. Yeah. Just Magic, just talking about them two, like Magic just living life, the prime of his career, the best player in the league, winning MVPs, winning championships. Just Magic was just everywhere. Commercials, women just loved him. And it was a great point that he said that if Magic swallowed Oven, you haven't got a chance to see Oven, you just saw Magic. Like, so, and then Larry Bird just back deteriorating. Just shows the toughness of Larry Bird to continue walking, to continue playing basketball at that level with a back brace and then 2 Achilles tendon, like getting paid to go to work and just giving it his all. Just phenomenal in itself to be able just to play. Like a lot of players don't really have that mental toughness to go out there and just play with a back injury or anything. I mean, it's tough. Like, it's really tough. It just tells you just how strong-willed he was, and him saying, he should have retired 88, 89, but the love of the competition and thinking that he could get one more go with Magic Johnson in the finals. Man, wow. Wow. So, but yeah, definitely shout out to Larry Bird, shout out to Magic Johnson. Sorry that I had to pause it, but I had to say that. Let's go ahead and continue with the documentary.
He's been really laying down, just waiting on the game, and the phone rings, and the voice says, "Hey, you gotta come back to LA." And okay, why? Well, I can't tell you till you get to LA. So I said, okay.
2 hours later, he was in the office of Lakers team physician Michael Melman.
Dr. Melman starts to tell me that, through the physical I took, that they discovered that I had HIV. First time ever in my life. I'm such a control freak, right? Things the right way. I'm out of control. Oh, it was everything. How is it possible? What happened? How did it happen to me? My mind is racing, and then you're just devastated.
Further complicating things, Magic had gotten married just 2 months earlier. He feared the worst for his new bride, Cookie, who was pregnant with their first child.
I don't know what's going to happen with my wife and my baby. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't have control of the situation, and I was lost just for that next 2 or 3 weeks.
And after Magic learned neither his wife nor his unborn child were infected, he began revealing the news to his inner circle.
The phone rang, and it was Magic's agent, Lon Rosen. And he said, "Urban's looking for you, call him." And I said, "I'll call him when I get to Paramount." And he says, "Call him now." I said, "Lon, I'll call him when I get to Paramount. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And he said, "You gotta call him now. Urban's HIV positive." I remember I was sitting on the bed. I remember standing up at that point. And I said, "How is that possible?" I'm thinking Urban's gonna get skinny and die. I mean, literally, that's what I thought. Urban's gonna get skinny and die.
The first person I thought of was Larry. I wonder what Larry thinks.
The day that I heard about Magic, it just sort of changed my love for basketball. It shook me up. You get that feeling, probably the same type of feeling I had when my father died.
He wants to understand why, how can I talk to him? I need to speak to him. It was just really important for Larry to talk to him.
Sort of, I don't know. I wanted to hear it from him, probably didn't believe it.
Called me, we're talking, it's just, how you doing? I heard about it. And, you can almost hear both of us with some tears in our eyes. I'm choked up because he did call me. When something happens, to you, and then you find out who really your friends are.
Facts.
And people who really care about you.
Facts.
You figure all those battles, all those things we had to go through as warriors, as competitors, then as men. And here's this man says, "Hey, you know what, man, you're okay." And so that was the greatest moment for me too, to have him check on me and to make sure I was okay. First of all, let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
It's the only press conference I've ever been in where I've seen reporters cry. I mean, we thought this guy was in total denial.
I plan on going on living for a long time, bugging you guys like I've always have.
We thought this smile was going to be wiped off his face forever and he was going to die, but we're going to watch him die in public.
I just remember in the room he was joking, and I'm sitting there looking at him crying, and he's like, "Cool, man, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right."
I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna beat it, and I'm gonna have fun.
Sure, Clyde. You're going to beat this? And to him, it was a contest. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, AIDS and Magic Johnson, he's same thing. It's just a different game, different rules, but I'm still going to win.
He wasn't planning on going nowhere. Urban was planning that day to find the right medicine, to eat right, get rest, and live forever. That's what he was planning.
Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
But his Magic put up a positive public face. His nemesis, still out of sorts, shed the mask he had hidden behind for years.
He was visibly like, wow, how could that happen? You know, it really set him back.
Probably the two toughest days I've had since my father passed away. I've been very depressed and sort of been out of it.
I listened to him talk in this press conference about how devastated he was. I remember thinking to myself, goddamn, Larry found Urban.
Yeah.
You know, just out of the blue, something like that happened. It just never had, other than one other instance. And I was hoping I'd never see that again because I remember how I felt weeks after that. And yesterday was just a sad day.
And at his game that night, Bird was forced to confront pain he couldn't so easily play through.
Didn't want to be there that night. First time ever. And really last. I remember we played in Atlanta. Had no feel for the game, you know. This wasn't a good time to be out there. Never had that before.
That night he threw a pass. I'll never forget, he threw a half-court pass behind his back for a layup.
Wow.
And if you blurred your eyes, just squinted your eyes, it looked like magic.
Yeah.
And that was Larry saying goodbye.
What a pass.
You know, I mean, this competition thing is amazing. What it does to you. What you put your body through and what you do and what you say and how you feel. And knowing that he's not there wouldn't feel right. I think it's all them years that, you know, what's he doing? What if he's practicing this hard? I bet he shot 500 shots a day and I didn't get 500 in. It's always that mind games.
Bird played through the 91-92 season, his last in the NBA, but a part of him was already gone.
I didn't check the papers anymore, you know, it didn't matter. I still want to compete, you know, but it wasn't the same. It really wasn't.
With the exception of that year when he was called Tragic Johnson, because on the basketball court things didn't shake down properly, this is the first time I'm hearing ignorance, hatred, vicious, nasty things.
Media.
There was some of my former teammates who had their own little things that they were
Come
talking
on.
about. Why this happened to
Isaiah.
You know anybody else that's heterosexual that got it? Come on, man. You're in denial. I've been called gay, faggot, Urban's lover. I've been called all that shit.
Lon Rosen got a call from Isaiah Thomas asking, you know, I keep hearing Magic's gay. Lon said, well, for crying out loud, you know better than anybody he isn't. You're one of his best friends. And he said, well, we don't know what's going on in Hollywood. And the fact that Isaiah was questioning why he got this, I think it was really, really hurtful to him.
Yeah.
He used to say, you know, I don't want people to stop shaking my hand and giving me my hugs. He loves to be loved. And that's what bothered him the most, that people would change. relationship to him.
He would show up at the Lakers facility to work out and to shoot some baskets, and he'd try to engage his teammates and say, hey, you want to play a little one-on-one before practice? And, oh, geez, no, I can't. I got to go get taped. Or, oh, geez, I got work to do. I got to do something else.
The worst thing of all this is that I couldn't play basketball. I don't even think dealing with HIV. It was that I couldn't play.
The game, the surroundings was his whole world. That's his personality. When you take that away, you know, you're hurting. I knew he was hurting in a big way.
The only sex is safe sex, and that's no sex.
As basketball went on without him, Magic performed ably in his new role as HIV educator and spokesman.
I'm helping every way that I can.
But he still pined for the arena, which had made him a star. So when he was invited to play in the 1992 NBA All-Star Game, he jumped at the chance, promptly stealing the show and winning MVP honors. But that was just a warm-up.
Yeah.
The encore Magic had up his sleeve.
He's not done yet because we're going to go to Barcelona and bring back
the Olympics
for everyone here in the United States.
For the first time ever, NBA players would be competing in the Olympics. And Magic, armed with a message, was not about to miss the show.
It would have proved to people that you were not going to get the disease playing against me. And then also for me too, personally, you know, it was therapy. It was a way to say, man, you get to do this one more time.
There was also one other perk.
I think playing with Larry was very important. That's something they talked about. I mean, he was going to be on the Dream Team. He was going to be with Michael. He was going to be with Barkley. But he was going to play with Larry.
Magic kept saying, I just want to get you out on that court one more time. Let's just have one more sequence like we had all the way back in 1978. But it was interesting that with Magic being the one that was HIV positive, he felt great. He was in the best shape of his life. He had worked so hard to make sure he didn't go there as a token player. And here was Larry, who couldn't even practice, who could barely move.
But you know what? Didn't matter. We were still together. You know, didn't matter.
Hold me close and hold me fast. The magic spell you cast. This is lovely I wrote.
And when he got his opportunity, he switched a few.
Good for 3, yes.
And who's taking the last shot with the game on the line?
When I got my opportunity, I still was Magic.
14 years after they first crossed paths, the smiling kid from Lansing and the shy boy from French Lick were happily back together in Barcelona. But it took just one glance outside their hotel's front door each morning for them to see that as far as they had come, they were as far apart as ever.
The only way you walk up that door if you wanted attention. But I asked this guy, how can you get around this? There's got to be a way. Lo and behold, it was a side door. You can go wherever you want. That's what I'm telling about it. But seeing that smile on his face, the closer you got to that front door, come on. You didn't want no side door, you know Urban. You go right in the middle of them.
Turn the long way, sweetheart. There you go.
I'm going out the front because that's who I am. I don't go out the back. I don't go out the side.
That's not me. If you want to go somewhere in a hurry, there's a door that leads you there. And I found it.
I respected him for that. And so, hell, I would try to find a side door for him. And we never tried to change each other. That's what made this relationship great.
One goal, 2 as well.
One of my pet peeves always is when people say, oh, Michael Jordan saved the NBA. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Tell them like it is, Brian.
Magic and Larry saved the NBA.
Facts.
That's who saved the NBA. Magic and Larry.
Magic and Larry. Bird and Magic. To the millions who once watched them, now more than ever, they are inseparable. A pair of athletes thrown together by the cosmos to compete. A pair of men who discovered a bond in the midst of that competition. Decades removed from the height of their rivalry, their bond endures. Two impossibly different men with a connection only they can fully grasp.
It's almost like a private little club, and only the two of them are in it. And every once in a while, they need to show up to have a reunion and pay their dues to each other. But they don't need the day-to-day contact that most friends need. It's just not that kind of relationship.
I always get this good feeling when I know I'm going to see him because he makes you feel good. You know, he really does. He's unbelievable.
He's very private, but if he's your friend, man, you got a friend for life. And Larry Bird is a straight shooter. He'll tell you when he don't like you.
Facts.
That's one thing I wish I could have from him. That he has that I don't have. I wish I had that.
I mean, he walked in here, this whole room would change, and maybe that's what I always wanted to be, but I just couldn't.
Wow, what a great documentary. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, A Courtship of Rivals. Thank y'all so much for asking for me to react to the documentary, and a lot of people said that I would like it. Man, I did not want it to stop. It was so good. I enjoyed the emotional aspect of it. Larry Bird, towards the end of his career, just couldn't really do anything because of his back, and Achilles tendons, both of them. I mean, he just could not stay healthy, unfortunately. Magic Johnson, in the prime of his career, was winning championship and then get HIV in 1991. A lot of people just thought he was going to die. Media turned back on him. Like, Magic lived off of the fans in the arena, makes him feel good. And then when he doesn't have basketball, when he didn't have the fans, when he didn't have the arena, he didn't have his teammates, he just felt like he was all alone, and it just devastated him. And seeing close people, his teammates, just talk bad about, because nobody didn't really know about HIV at the time, just not like a lot of information back then on it. And to give him credit to this day, he's still kicking it, like, and it just feels like that like he doesn't have it. He is just living life every day on the yacht. So I give him so much credit, and I have so much respect for him. Just he is a hero. He is a hero for it. But yeah, great players. I was wondering about that baby hook shot that Magic hit in the NBA Finals in Game 4. If Kevin McHale didn't break his foot, because Kevin McHale said on Open Cut that his foot was not healthy and he broke his foot. He played on it since like January of that year. I'm wondering if things would have been different if Magic didn't get the sky hook off with Kevin McHale guarding him with a healthy foot. I wonder that, because there's always conspiracy, because Magic seemed like he wasn't really worried about Kevin McHale guarding him, that he was going to take him to the rack. So I don't know. It's just conspiracy theories right there. And just enjoying just them, the visual aspects of Magic, with how he said he was like a trophy when he got the news, how they had like the visual aspects of cars driving fast, and they did a really good job with that, because it just felt like he was out of control. It was like it got so many questions and he didn't know what to do. So I thought that was really cool. And towards the end, just seeing their friendship and how close they are, and just the amount of respect they have each other from the competition. Larry laying his guard down, talking about Magic in a good way, even after the '87 Finals, talking about how great of a basketball player. You never heard a lot that from Larry Bird. You never heard that from Larry Bird at all, of giving praise to another basketball player, and then just devastated when he heard the Magic Johnson news and that he couldn't really play that night in Atlanta. So, wow. So it was a great documentary. If you have any other Larry Bird videos for me to react to, or Magic Johnson videos, or any other player, please put it in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP for more content. Click the notification bell. You know our next upload is on the way to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm JP, and we out of here. Peace.